All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One bloody morning so far. We're gonna get started here shortly. I'm just gonna send out the alert. Bloody, bloody Tuesday. Turn around Tuesday, like they say. All right, all right, all right. We are down about 1.35% here. We're gonna wait for everybody to sign on. Interesting, interesting. Can't keep going up, you know? There will be a point where we have to pull back a bit, and that's just healthy. Gives me a little confidence trading instead of chasing, chasing, chasing. All right. All right. Well, whomever is here is here. Awesome. And whomever is not, you're missing out. All right. Obviously, big down move here from yesterday's area. We are down about 1.36% here on ES. We are near that 49.66 area or support. That is a need to hold. In addition to this 49.8, I would say these 15 points here are very, very important to hold. If we can do that and recover 5,000, I think it would look a little bit better. But I think we need back above this 50.20 on ES. Okay, that should trigger a bigger move. Now, if 49.66 drops or breaks rather, 49.50 is your natural kind of support. And then you have the 20-day moving average, 49.33. It is pretty heavy still. It's looking like we're still selling off here. All right, so we just have to give market a little time to figure this out. Let's keep going here. Let's go to SPX. Now, SPX is probably going to open up right around here somewhere, around 49.50, I would imagine. I would need this 49.30 to hold. It's the previous all-time high from January 30th of this year. Which I think was the first new all-time high after breaking that 48.18 area, if I'm not mistaken, or it was the week after we broke that. Either way, 49.30 is important to me, and then they have the 20-day moving average right there. Just looking to the left here, you can see there's, quite a lot of activities here. We've been trending quite a lot. Last week, we did break out of this double inside day, you can see here. And so a back test of that is important. We will get it. The question is, do we hold it? If not, we can sell off. So, there are a lot of questions here, but I would need this 49.30 to hold 4900. And then we can start talking about buying the dip. QQQ is trading lower, obviously. It's trading below that 49.30 key level, which we've talked about needing to hold. You have this double inside day that we broke out of last Tuesday, so a week ago, and we're retracing back all the way there. All right, so we're breaking the 9-day here in the pre-market. Do we hold 425? Do we hold 424? Or do we retrace all the way back to 420, which was another bounce area here? Please note the bounce area over here, right? Bounce area as you use the top and the bottom of that bounce area for resistance or support. We're currently kind of breaking into that bounce area. Once you break into the bounce area, there's a good chance that you can go from one extreme to another via the POC, which should be around here, 425. Now, if we test this bottom area of this bounce area on QQQ, that should align with this 423 area. That's good support right there. If that does not hold, we have 420, and then we'll take it from there. All right, so a lot of kind of, if we do this, this could happen. If we do this, this could happen. The big thing here to understand is that we have a big bounce area over here. And so we need to hold that bottom part of it. If you can hold the top of it, we can revert back up higher. Let's see what happens. Remember, about a year ago, a year and a half ago, we had a bad CPI that looked terrible. I think we were down 2%, and that came back and ended up, I think, plus one something, 1.5%. So always keep an open mind. I'm not saying this is bullish. I'm not saying this is not bearish. I'm just saying keep an open mind. Let the price dictate what you're doing or what you're not doing, what to look for, and just take one step at a time. All right. Now, obviously, IWM will get hit, right? Because now what's happening is that the Fed cut that was priced in for, I think, June is pushed out further. And so that will hit these growth names, right? It will hit IWM and some of the names that have been running quite a lot as of late. If we just do this, you can see that aside from the ones that had earnings, you have a lot of big moves to the downside here. And most of them are, you know, quote unquote, smaller names. I'm not talking about the mega tech names that we're all familiar with. All right, so that's that. There's an idea here. It's like these short, right? For me, I don't feel comfortable shorting into weakness on the first move lower after such a bullish move higher, right? I like to give the market a little time to figure it out. For me, the better kind of approach is the wait and see, the patience approach. Wait for support to hold, wait for resistances to recover, and then wait for failed breakdowns. I think that's going to be your best friend if you want to go long. If you want to go short, wait for that initial impulse move higher that you might get due to algos buying this dip. IWM, for example, if we do test that 200, I mean, that could be a good short area, right? QQQ, if for some reason we do pop into this 430, which is just a few points off, that might be a good area to go short, right? It's the top of this bounce area that we had over here with the double inside that we broke out of. That was resistance, right? We just broke it. Is it resistance again, or do we recover and we get a failed breakdown and we get a plus 3, 4, or 5 move? Those are all questions, right? Those are all questions to keep an eye on. As far as individual names, I don't have too many in my watch list, actually. I do want to see what happens, right? I do want to watch the Microsofts. I want to see if this money on this dip flows into these bigger names, right? So, you know, out of some of the more speculative names into the more quote unquote safe names, right? The big tech names. Considering we're at 422 not too long ago, Microsoft, we're back down to 400 or 405. Does that 20-day moving average get bought? Does Apple, now that it's been kind of laggard a little bit and it's sold down into this previous all-time high 185, does that start getting a bid for one reason or another? All right, so let's see. Let's follow these names. For example, Meta, great earnings, Meta. And you know, started catching a bid yesterday, and then it's falling through the floor. This is nothing has changed regards to the earnings report. The question is, like, where do they start hammering it? Where do they start buying it? Right? It's still a good name. Do we fall back down to 440? Does it catch a bid there? Right? Nothing's changed there. Amazon, does this 9-day moving average get bought? It's all the way back down to this bottom of the balance area. So we have to watch that. If not, we can sell down to the 20-day moving average. Right? Does a Google catch a little bit of a flow? Right? Also a big move down. Right? This needs time to kind of resolve. All these need time to resolve. But if this dip gets bought, I think these names are the ones that will get bought first. So if you're not trading them, watch them. Watch for Microsoft to be relatively strong to get bought. Watch for some of the other names that we've mentioned to get bought. Now, Netflix is not down not a lot, not as much as the others, right? Why? Well, I think Roku has earnings coming up, and so it will get affected. So it will be a little bit less of a sell-off, I would say, for now. Let's see. Now, NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA has earnings next week. We sold our 750s near the highs. Okay, good sell. this might be an opportunity to roll into something with profits for earnings, right? Earnings on the 21st, I believe. The 21st on Wednesday after market close, right? Is this an opportunity to just buy some calls into that, right? They're not going to sell Nvidia into earnings. I don't think so, right? I don't think so. Do we get to 700 and hold? Do we dip into 687, 87? Remember, this was an important area that we were watching. Do we tag the 9-day? Perhaps that's a good spot to go long, right? A&D, back lower. There's really nothing here to do with AMD. Nothing to do here with AMD. And then you have other names, right? LRCX, right? But these might be just kind of good to keep an eye on until later. As far as actionable trades here, there's not a whole lot I'm looking at aside from the indices. And please, everything I'm saying is for educational purposes only. I need to be reminded to say this before the stream. But yes, it's for educational and informational purposes only. Please make sure to read this. And we're going to move on into this here. And so what I'm looking for here is, does money start flowing back into these big tech names? And is that our first indication that we might get bought up, right? And if not, that's another warning sign. That means we're not done selling. That means we have to be patient and perhaps scalp, if anything, or just sit on hands. Okay, so let's see. People were buying ARM yesterday at 155, 160. We hit 164. It's back down to 130. All right, let this breathe. But, people are watching ARM. So if there is momentum, maybe it's a good scalp. But I don't see any high conviction trades at this point. I do see the opportunity of perhaps buying a dip longer term. Okay, longer term meaning 2, 3, maybe a month out, right? On these like quality names that I mentioned earlier. Some things worth covering here. Shop had earnings and sold off. Selling off quite considerably too. Okay. 77.55, the 20-day, the 50-day moving average, important area. It's down 12%. Another one that has sold off is DDOG. DDOG will affect Snow, will affect MDP, some of the software names, Net, all of those. And so at this point, until the next software name reports, this group might be in more of a kind of a negative territory. All right, that's what earnings does, right? It goes both positive and negative. Yeah, Nvidia got a few upgrades. I think I saw one like 900 or something crazy by Mitsuo. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I think I saw it somewhere. So it was something ridiculous. So we'll watch it. I mean, what I'm looking for here, maybe some 800 calls for a couple weeks out, cashing that earnings report, right? That could be something to look for. Maybe March monthlies or something. But I'm not in a rush. I think it'd be interesting to see if the 700 holds first, and if not, do we dip down to 680? So, we'll watch. So that's all I have to say. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of, if this happens, we'll take these calls, or if this happens, we take these puts. I've already said I'm really not looking for puts at this moment. I want to see, if anything, what I want to see is that first pop. What happens when they start buying it? Do we bump into some important area which could get shorted? Right? We're under 5,000 now, right? Do we dip under and then back test it and then that fails to recover? Right? That's a short, if you like short. Do we test 5,000 and break above? right? Then you have to be a little careful with shorting it. That says a lot if we can break back above 5,000. So, all of these are all kind of variables to look for. And as I said, I'm interested in looking at the quality names, the so-called big tech, mega whatever names, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Netflix, all of those. Like, do they get some inflow? Or what happens, right? I want to see what happens before doing anything. So today might be a day to, either scalp or just sit on hands. I'm not in a rush to give back any of the profits that we've made over the last, few months. It is, I believe it's OPEX on Friday, and then we do have PPI on Friday as well. So there's quite a lot of, uncertainty in the market at this moment. And nobody can sit here and tell you, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, right? It's best to let the market say, talk to you, or it's best to sit here and wait for the market, for the price action to generate information that you can decipher and perhaps translate into actionable trades. All right, that's important. So I think us as a group, we need to help each other stay patient today. All right. And I know there's a variety, a spectrum of traders in this group, which is what makes this such a lovely place to be. Ranging from scalpers to longer term traders, people who want to buy month out calls on big dips and so on and so forth. And so I will do my best to guide you through it, as always, with some color, right? So if I say, okay, we are failing or we recover 5,000, this might be a nice scalp to 5,010. Or if we're backtesting 5,000, I think this could be a good short with, let's say 49.80 puts or something, right? And so once again, just to be super, super clear and just make sure all the dots are there and all the T's are crossed or whatever. Not everything I say is actionable, okay? I was talking to one of the members asking, like, what can I do not to jump on everything? How do I know what you're saying is, actionable? What is an A+ setup? What is not? Well, I try to verbally give you as much information as I can. It's impossible for me to cover every little nuance of every setup as the action is coming in, right? It's just impossible. I think it's more of a skill for you to hear me and use what I say as an indicator and making it part of your plan. So it comes down to you doing the DD, understanding which setups are, A+, which are not. You can ask me and I'll give you my opinion. And what are triggers, what are not triggers. And then if I say something that falls into your plan, perhaps that's actionable, right? And so I just want to make sure that everybody understood that because it's very, very important. Okay, now I am going to look at something here. If ES test is 49.69, that is a pretty good level to look at because here, let me do this. This is a little more, for some of you who are more experienced, but we're currently at 49.72. All right, so that's around here. Now we do have the 9-day moving average over here, and we do have this value area low from last week, right at this 49.69 area. Our value area lows are important because those are supports. If those hold, we can push into previous state or into the POC. And what we're looking at here is the market profile for the week, right? So this is a composite of the weekly market profile for ES last week. Look at where the POC is. All right, it's 5,012. So there is an idea here that we can bounce off this 49, 69, 70 area, recover the 9, recover 49.87, 5,000, and then test this 512, 18 area, right? This is the important area to look for a failed breakdown. So we'll keep that kind of back of our minds. I will make sure to mention it if we're getting there. We can also even just kind of add an alert here, just so we have it. Now, if this value area low breaks, we can test previous week value area high. So that's right around 49, 46, 49.50 becomes important. So we'll keep all those levels in mind, okay? So that's that. As I said, Jay, I'm not looking at anything particular right now. I want the action to kind of dictate what I do. I think I want to be a little bit more cautious and perhaps look at the indices for a dip buy. That's A. B, I would like to see if money does flow into the big tech, and then perhaps I'll be interested in Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, some of these names that have reported and reaction has been positive. But aside from that, we'll see. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm just gonna be frank with you. I don't know. Does money kind of migrate to more safer areas of the market, right? More like beta, lower beta stuff, right? Wherever that is. Is it, do they hit industrials, materials? Do they hit other areas of the market? That's something I need your help with. In case you notice something, let me know, and then we'll kind of create a thesis around it. Because I can only watch that many charts. And I'm not telling you to do my work. I'm just telling that we're a team and we're going to do this together. All right. With that, we're going to turn off the YouTube stream.